Tonight's my last. Whoa, it's a cat. Tonight's my last night sleeping in Bushwick. So obviously, I'm being really avoidant from what I actually have to do, which is pack. And I had a panic attack, and then it made me so tired that I did nothing for 3 hours. So, and if you know what Bushwick is, I don't have to explain anything else. If I was to sum up Bushwick in just a little story, they were talking about how said somebody shamed a girl because she didn't know. Someone shamed one of the girls who was talking because she didn't know. I don't know how to write script. I don't know how to read it. And she was like, it was just so classist. It's the Olympics over here, but I always admitted my parents paid my rent. I know you're not a creative project. I don't know how you could live here without either having a corporate boss job or you have your parents support you. My parents support me. Extreme, what, 1% of the population that's lucky enough to do this. Just stop pretending you don't. Actually, I don't really care. You can pretend whatever. I can really just only control myself. Anyways, so my last night, I figured, wait, I've only gone thrift shopping here, which is a thing, once. And when I say thrifting, I mean going to a store run by Gen Z who their stares could kill you, they would. And you'll be like, oh my god, oh, this is such a cute dress. Clearly any fabric. And then they're like, it's $50. And I thought this was discounted. Anyways, long story short, that's what we're gonna do tonight. We're gonna go into a vintage store and I'm gonna buy something. Well, if I like something. And then I'm gonna go to the cashier and it's gonna be like $200. And then the cashier's gonna spit in my face. Fiona, oh, now everything's in focus, I think. Should I record? Nah, it's fine. Fiona's been jumping in the fridge, and I don't really know what that means about me as a cat mom. Something. It's not because I don't keep it cool enough in here. It's Dr. Pepper. Diet. My defense, I had none. I'm filming way too long of an intro. I will show you the state of my apartment, just so if anybody's ever feeling bad about themselves, clogged the toilet for the fourth time the other day. Everything's going really well. Oh. Is this the shot we want? Oh, the mic. Take it down and then put it back up anyway. I do. Never said I was Instagram model. Imagine I got stuck. Dude, I got distracted and then I recorded 40 minutes of me going over my emails, and that's something that would happen. So I don't punch back. I'm nervous. As you can hopefully tell, I'm moving. I'm leaving Bushwick and I'm just moving to the neighborhood over, so it's not that exciting. But I will say that this neighborhood was not good for my mental health. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. Today, I wanted to talk about vulnerability. So, we all have such a negative connotation around the word. Somebody knows something, they can hurt you, they can judge you, they can use it against you. And I saw a quote recently, I don't know who it's by, but I probably saw it on Instagram. I've been seeing a lot of quotes there, but I really liked it, and it was, "The only thing you'll lose by being real is something that's fake," which is true. Lately in my life, but I feel like surprisingly, since I was 16 maybe, I've been, like, I think I've been way too vulnerable with, like, sharing life experiences or, like, sharing mental health struggles or, like, sharing anything I go through. Like, I've definitely been at a young age was like, "Wait, whatever." We all have this such fear of judgment, and even though that I don't know what I'm saying. Basically, I try my best not to be, like, crying all the time vulnerable, like, that's not even my life crying all the time, it's mostly good. But when we're struggling, it's so harsh to be like, "Things are really bad." You're going through another situation, and you feel like you're the only person who would, like, understand, so you just shut up. You're like, "I don't wanna tell my friends or my family or something like that because, they wouldn't get it anyway, like, they would judge me, whatever." In some situations, if you know how someone's gonna react and it's just gonna be mean, maybe don't be vulnerable to them. Going to, like, the worst person ever and being like, "This happened," and they're like, "You suck," or like, "Well, yeah." avoid that. But I'm more talking about with your friends and family or even like strangers that you're meeting and getting to know. You don't have to say like, "Hi, my name is Jillian," and like I was in residential like half my high school experience. There's something to be said about this fear of being vulnerable. And it comes from a fear of judgment, obviously, because we think, oh, if somebody knows this thing about me, that's like maybe, I don't know. It's so weird when I start to explain it because I'm like, oh, somebody knows I'm sad. But it is true. I personally have been in so many situations or have talked to so many people and being like, oh my God, I'm so sad and lonely right now, but I don't want to talk. I don't want to tell them because they're going to think I'm weird. And we think, oh, if I'm honest about how I'm feeling or how I'm doing in my life, they're going to judge me. And judgment, when we feel judged, we're like, oh my God, something's wrong with us. And it's just like our ego just goes on a ride. And it's like, okay, what do I deserve then? If I'm sensitive or this, like that, I don't see vulnerability as a weakness because I can never lose by being vulnerable. But somebody's gonna be like, there, oh my God, she's being a human, feeling emotions or like making mistakes or I don't like going through a mental illness or something like that. What are you gonna because I know my experiences and I know that I don't know, maybe it just comes from more of a self from being in a place where I know myself, maybe. I don't know. That's how I feel. That's what I've gone through. I never lose by being vulnerable, but by not, if I'm like just thinking something and I just can't say it, or I'm really struggling and I don't say anything, or I'm struggling with this thing and I'm like, I'm the only person on planet Earth who has. When I'm not vulnerable, I miss out on connecting with new people. I miss out on helping other people be like, oh my God, I thought I was the only one who dealt with that too. You miss out on love. Think about it. The first person to ask the person on the date, the first person to jump in the pool, get everybody else to jump in the pool. And this is very metaphorical. When I'm not vulnerable in situations where I should be, getting help, getting support. Feeling alone is like the worst feeling in the world, I personally think. Like the worst thing ever when you're like, no, I'm alone in this. And oh, I have this problem, but like, nobody can help me with it. And something that I've heard so many times, but it sounds harsh, but it's so helpful is being like, your problems aren't special. And it's right. Anything you've gone through, I'm not going to say everything. You make people feel less alone when you're vulnerable. You help other people while you also feel less alone. Things that most humans go through, other humans have, and we just forget that or pretend that it doesn't affect us like it does. Everybody's so scared. Wait, I wrote this thought down. We're all humans, but we spend so much time pretending we're not, that we don't feel emotions or that we don't experience grief or loss or anxiety or nervousness. And I'm just talking about negative feelings because those are the ones we hide more. And those are the ones that we tend not to be vulnerable about. You have weddings, you have celebrations and stuff like that. I'm not saying we need to celebrate. Well, there's funerals. We miss out on humanity when we don't tell the truth about how we're feeling. Why wouldn't you? Because it's scary. But I'm gonna say, like, to my friend, "Hey, I've been really struggling and I feel this way, or I made this mistake. I really messed it up with this person and I feel awful," and something like that. Whenever anybody's come to me and been like, "I made a mistake," I've been like, I haven't judged them at all. That's a personal thing. Maybe if you're judging people for their mistakes, then all right, get off your high horse. I didn't know you were Jesus reborn." But I'm moving right now and I'm so anxious and scared. And I recently went through a breakup in which I just had to handle interesting circumstances. I could be such a hypocrite about it too, because I'm always like, why don't people answer, how are you, with the way they are? About a month ago, maybe, this was put to the test for me when I had to break up with my boyfriend from circumstances outside of me were like fine. Although I feel like I handled it in the most responsible or the most right way, and that's true. People would ask me, "Oh, how are you doing?" And I just started saying, I'm doing really not good." I can't eat, or I've been crying on and off, or I just can't believe, and here, this is what I've been feeling, this is what I've been thinking. Oh my God, what a relief. Oh my goodness gracious. And, I didn't want to. I wanted to be like, yep, no, it's all handled. It's all, no, we're good. Everything's good. I'm just going to move forward. No, if I was good, that'd be concerning. And I was kind of good, but I also when I was having those moments of just despair, I was like, you know what? I'm having moments of despair and just sadness and stuff like that. And that still happens so often because I experience a lot of emotion each day. Those who feel deeply feel a whole life in a day. Actually, no, if I shared, I should bring what I was about to say to a therapist. I want to talk about something, an experience I had. So once I was in group therapy and it was just dragging along. When you're in group therapy and everyone's like, my mom was a bitch last night, or this was an adult therapy. So it was just kind of yeah, I feel weird, stuff like that. But it was really dragging on. Nobody was sharing. And if you've been in group therapy, that's the worst because it's well, they're not going to let us out early because we finished our work early. We have to sit there for the 50 minutes. So I decided to share something that was really vulnerable. Nobody else related in the group, to say the least, to this experience I had. I was just yeah, this is what happened, and kind of what I'm coping with here. And yeah, it was really weird and really scary. I walked away from that group thinking, oh my God, everybody thinks, even though I didn't even do anything, I was like, oh my God, everyone thinks I'm too much. Everyone thinks I'm troubled and crazy and all these things. And the thing is, I just shared what I'd been through. The next day, I met with the therapist who was my therapist, and he was running that group. And he was I think he's a psychologist. He was super, super into psychology. And so he genuinely liked, when somebody likes their job, it's so they're good at it. He was one of those, and who genuinely is interested in therapy or psychology or anything like that. So he told me, well, first he brought it up. He was like, how did that feel? And I was like, weird, not the best. And some term, I don't think this is a term he used, but he did use a term in psychology, but it basically means this. I think he used this: behavioral modeling, the psychology term for demonstrating a behavior that others then adopt. Popularized by Harvard Business School professor Dr. Amy Edmondson in 1999. And then psychological safety. Did she say this too? I need to take better notes before I say anything. Something you look up who coined this term. Psychological safety, the belief that one will not be punished or humiliated for speaking up with ideas, questions, concerns, or mistakes, and that the team is safer for interpersonal risk-taking. Psychological safety is an emergent property of a group, not a personality trait, a vibe, or a management technique. He basically explains, once again, I forget if it was those exact words or similar, but these were the concepts. He was like, well, you just opened up the group. And I was like, kind of explain. He was like, you did more for the group than you understand. And I was like, nobody can relate to what the hell I just told him a story about, but okay. He was like, no, you really helped the group because now people will want to open up. And that totally backfired because I had to hear about everybody's marriages. And I was involved in everybody's marriage. At one point, I was like, listen, your husband's a bozo. We got to move on. We got to go back to anxiety or something. Let's talk about anxiety. This adds to another theory I have. It's not even a theory, it's just something that a lot of people believe, is that if we normalize suicidal thoughts, how many lives could be saved? I saw a video where somebody was running I don't know the credentials, I don't know who this was. I saw a video. And the person was like, yeah, I was running a workshop for therapists, and I asked them, raise your hand if you've never thought about ending your life, if you never have. And nobody out of all the therapists, nobody raised their hands. And he was like, you see, I don't know. I thought that was so interesting because if we normalize that idea of sometimes I don't want to be here, or you know what, I'm struggling so much that I don't, and not reacting in a way that's like, oh my God, arrest them. Oh my God, that they're crazy. No, let's be honest here. A lot of us have had those thoughts, and that's okay. Today's society, that's not gonna lie, I feel like that's expected. And some people might think that's crazy, and I don't care. Imagine if vulnerability was so normalized that you could go to your friend or a parent and be like, I want to, and them being like, I'm sorry, what can I do? Granted, some situations are emergencies. We destigmatize the idea so that it doesn't pile up in your head and then it becomes a secret and then you feel more and more alone. Oh my God, I have to protect this. I can't tell anyone, they'll freak out. So then you feel lonelier. What if we normalized it as a symptom? Because it is a symptom of depression. Over the past year, I was going through a really depressive episode, and somebody in my family said, that is the worst symptom of depression is that you think it's always gonna last. And I was like, but also I was like, that is a symptom. Of depression. That's what it does. And so why would we be judging people's symptoms of it is depression and illness? Yeah. Let's really get it back to basics, everybody. Human goes through experience, or human's brain has different chemicals. Human is distraught because the chemicals fire in your brain, and I don't know, look it up. And then you feel really distressed and dissociated or anxious, or you're crying all day, or you don't want to do anything, or you don't care about yourself. That's a normal psychological response. So now human is like, oh wait, society, if I'm like open about this, like people are just it's gonna get worse. People are gonna judge me, and then I'm gonna feel even worse about myself. And then it's just no. Our brains all work that way. We're all gonna feel psychological stress, just nobody's honest about it. So this episode is gonna make no sense, and I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing. Let's see if we can talk about something better. Oh, so yeah, I'm moving. I think I just wasted 30 minutes of my life recording this. I'm gonna clip this. I'm moving and I'm dealing with transitions, even though they're good in my life, and I'm an Aquarius. And apparently that means that this is like a really monumental period, which reminds me I have to do my rituals that I looked up on Google. We have no room to say something isn't real right now. We have no room to not take advantage of this. Aquarius is in Pluto. I don't know. I recently started to believe a little bit more in astrology because the last retrograde punched me in the face. And I just wanted to let everyone know I'm an Aquarius. Aries rising, Taurus moon, which is actually, you know what? I should do an episode where I get to the bottom of astrology because I don't know. But moving. Wait, do you want to see the kitties? Guys, come! Hi! I love you guys. And you know what? I'm going to be vulnerable with you guys right now, or at least honest. Sometimes they drive me insane. Sometimes they drive me literally insane. You sometimes add stress to my life. And I know we're not supposed to say that as pet owners, but sometimes you stress me out when you guys are bouncing off the walls, when you're jumping on everything, when you try to eat my pizza roll. That is stressful. But then once a day, around now, you all become very sweet, and then I'm like, wait, we are a family. Oh my God, hugs! And you have no idea that we're moving tomorrow and that you're going to be in a smaller space, but it's okay because you're also going to get harness trained. Oh my God, Fiona, you just restarted my computer. When I was fostering them, and I was on the phone with one of the women who like worked for the fostering things, and she was like, yeah, I'm fostering kittens. And the other day, one signed me up for Apple Music. And I think about that. I think about that so often. Oh my God. See, they just want to hang out with me, but I have to pack. And I was paralyzed all day with anxiety. Want to say something? That was crazy. You need to get a handle on what you're saying. You're crazy.